Good morning. Oh, wait. Don't try to speak. You took in a lot of water. Just focus on breathing right now. You want to know what happened to you. That's understandable. You were kayaking near the mouth of the river. Do you remember that? I expect you thought you had more time before the tide came in. It was moving pretty quickly today. It pushed you toward the rough waters of the bar. You were struggling. You seemed to be getting tired. You might have been okay, but a fishing boat was coming back to harbor in a bit of a hurry, and his wake swamped your kayak. I'm afraid that after all the struggling you'd been doing against the tide, you were a bit tired to swim to shore, especially against such a strong current. After you went under, I brought you to the shore to wait for the Coast Guard to come. I'm afraid it seems he didn't make the call, though. I've been here for a couple of hours watching you sleep it off, and no one's come looking for you yet. Normally they'd be very quick on the scene. I don't know if the fisherman just didn't notice what he'd done to you, or if he didn't want to take accountability for what he'd done. But the end result is nobody's come looking for you. I'm sorry I couldn't retrieve your kayak for you. The water gets pretty murky by the bar. By the time I got you to shore, it was too far down for me to find. Just give it a few hours. Once it gets dark, I'll bring you to a more populated beach. This one is only accessible to people who are willing to climb down the cliffs all around us. So we don't see many people down here. And forgive my saying, you don't seem like you'd be much of a rock climber right now. What was that? Why after dark? Oh, you haven't glanced down yet, have you? Yeah, there you go. As you can see, I would draw a great deal of attention if I were to just drag you up onto a public beach with my long tail propelling us onto the sand. I imagine you can understand why I'd rather not draw that kind of attention. What was that? Oh, yeah, no, sorry, you're not dreaming. But I assume when all of this is said and done, you'll think that you were. I think most people do. No, not a mermaid. I'm a siren. Well, the difference is I have a pleasant voice. Mermaids, not so much. The stories of sirens luring sailors to their deaths is a ridiculous slander made by men who want to compensate for their own incompetence. My voice does not have magical properties or hypnotic properties, but we can sing pretty well. Oh, the Coast Guard. Well, I know about them because, well, it would be strange if I didn't, wouldn't it? Considering I live in this area. So many boats, so many people sitting in them and chatting, telling all of their stories, not realizing that anyone can hear. We can hear their radios, we can hear their televisions when they watch them. I learn a lot about your kind that way. And, if I'm being honest, I do have the ability to go on land and walk amongst you. I don't do it often, but I have done it. Well, why would I? I've certainly been driven to it by curiosity, to explore your lands, but not often. I've never been tempted to stay long. Well, for one thing, my tail won't fully split into legs until it's fully dried. And that interim is kind of vulnerable for me. Can you imagine? I have to be out of the water long enough to get dried, but still with an awkward tail, not suited to being on land. It's awkward until I develop my land legs. And then there are all those things that humans need to be amongst each other. Clothes, money, transportation, if I want to see anything other than the beach that I already get to see from the water. You humans do like to make simple things complicated, don't you? Every once in a while, I do pull myself up onto a rarely used boat to dry off. Keeps me hidden. There's often some sort of clothing lying about. The deep-sea fishing fleet are good about leaving some rain jackets and boots on their vessels. But I'm sure you can imagine I make quite the sight wandering about town. In an oversized yellow raincoat and rubber boots. I get some strange looks. It's a shame. I've heard there's so much more to the land than what I've seen. Sometimes fishermen watch television when they're not working at night, and not paying attention. I can sneak up onto their decks and see what they're watching. I've seen the most interesting things in that little glowing screen. I think I'd like to see them for myself someday. But it is beginning to get dark. Are you feeling up to me bringing you back to the public beach? If you get lucky, there will be humans having a bonfire on the beach. They'll spot you quickly if you call out. If not, someone will be along soon. They always are. Oh. Yeah, I might have done this a time or two before. Why haven't you heard about it? I don't know. Perhaps the humans I've helped realized that they wouldn't be believed if they told, or perhaps they tried to tell and they weren't believed. But maybe, and I like to think this is the truth, maybe they chose not to say anything because it would be an unkind way to repay me for rescuing them. Our kind are fairly able to avoid your cameras and your sonar that can't distinguish between one of us or a shark or a small whale. But if ever humans truly decided to hunt for us, one day they might find us. And I'm not confident Siren kind would come out the better for our having met. I think you know that as well as I, don't you? Or at least, you're not certain how it would go. So, after I return you to your kind, I would appreciate your discretion about this. You can do that for me, can't you? All right. Thank you. Okay then, you ready? No? What's left? Oh. What was that for? Oh. Well, of course you're welcome. And that was for thank you as well for keeping my secret. All right, let's get you to the humans. You hold tight to my shoulders and I'll make sure to keep your head above the water. Ready? All right. It won't be long. I'm a fast swimmer. Alright, here we are. Just as I thought. Humans on the beach having a bonfire party. Of course I know about it. They're usually drinking and very loud. A lot of times they separate into groups and kiss. But not like you and I just did. It's longer. It's slower. There's a lot more sounds involved. Sort of mming and eyeing and... yeah. And on more than one occasion, I've seen couples separate and do more than kiss on the beach. Well, they're on a public beach. I expect they're okay with being seen. I mean, I was no further away in the water than their friends were on the beach. I just happened to be facing them as opposed to away. Alright, I'll get back in the water and you can give them a shout and get some help. Well, yes, I can stay a little longer. Don't you want to get back to the humans, though? Well, I've enjoyed spending time with you as well. Even though I've done most of the talking. I'd like to see you again, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Well, it does take a bit of a leap of faith, doesn't it? That if I agree to meet you back at this beach, that you'll actually come with a towel as opposed to a camera or other humans to capture me. You're right. It would be a very poor way to return the favor of my having rescued you. All right. I tell you what. If you don't decide that this is all a dream between now and then, come meet me back here in 7 nights. Bring a towel and some clothes that a human woman would wear. Not anything made of rubber, please. And you can show me some of those things I've always wanted to see for myself. Thank you, human. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Be well, human. I'll see you in a week. If you don't think I'm a dream. Oh, my name. You couldn't pronounce it. You can call me Dreamy.